Aita for not forgiving my best friend after she stole my late mother's wedding ring? Hey Reddit, I'm in a difficult situation and need some advice. My best friend, Samantha, did something that I'm struggling to forgive, and it's causing a rift between us. I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong for not letting go of my hurt and anger. Here's the full story. My mother passed away 2 years ago. Losing her was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. She was not only my mother but also my confidant and my rock. Among the few belongings she left behind, one item held immense sentimental value for me: her wedding ring. It was a beautiful piece of jewelry, an heirloom that had been passed down through generations in our family. To me, it was more than just a ring, it was a symbol of my mother's love and our family's history. During the months following my mother's passing, I focused on honoring her memory in any way I could. I spent a lot of time going through her belongings, reminiscing about her life, and trying to find comfort in the memories we shared. I made a point of telling my closest friends, including Samantha, about how much the ring meant to me. I shared stories about my mother and the significance of the ring in our family. Samantha was always very supportive during this time, and I trusted her deeply. About 6 months ago, I noticed that the ring was missing. At first, I thought I might have misplaced it or that it had been put in a different spot. I searched my home thoroughly, checking every drawer, box, and hidden corner where I might have accidentally left it. When I couldn't find it, I began to worry. The ring was irreplaceable, and its absence felt like a personal loss. I reached out to Samantha and mentioned that the ring was missing, hoping she might have seen it or remembered something about its last known location. I didn't accuse her of anything, I just wanted to gather any information that might help me locate it. Samantha's reaction was calm, and she said she hadn't seen the ring and that she was sorry to hear it was missing. Days turned into weeks, and I grew increasingly distressed. I finally decided to confide in Samantha, explaining how much the ring meant to me and how devastated I was by its loss. She listened sympathetically and offered to help me look for it. We spent an entire day searching my apartment together, but we didn't find anything. A week later, Samantha reached out to me with a heavy heart. She asked if we could meet up to talk about something important. I agreed, and we met at a cafe. Samantha seemed unusually nervous, which made me uneasy. When she finally sat down, her face was pale, and she seemed on the verge of tears. She took a deep breath and confessed that she had taken the ring. Her explanation was that she had been going through a difficult financial situation and felt desperate. She claimed she was struggling to make ends meet and saw the ring as a way to get some quick cash. She admitted that selling it was a terrible mistake and deeply regretted her actions. Samantha offered to repay me the amount she received from selling the ring, but it was clear from her expression that the guilt was eating her up. I was stunned and heartbroken. The betrayal felt like a knife to the heart. I had always trusted Samantha and considered her one of my closest friends. To learn that she had taken something so precious without my knowledge or consent was devastating. The ring was more than just an object to me, it was a tangible connection to my mother and a symbol of my family's heritage. Losing it was like losing a part of my mother again. Samantha's apology, while heartfelt, didn't change the fact that the ring was gone. I struggled with feelings of anger, sadness, and disbelief. The fact that my best friend had stolen from me and then tried to justify her actions made it even harder to process. I felt as though she had violated a trust that was fundamental to our relationship. After our conversation, I needed time to process everything. I withdrew from Samantha, not out of malice but because I needed space to come to terms with the betrayal. I found it difficult to look at her without feeling hurt and angry. Our friendship, which had once been a source of comfort and joy, now felt tainted by this breach of trust. Despite the emotional turmoil, Samantha continued to reach out. She called and texted frequently, trying to apologize and make amends. She expressed her deep regret and tried to explain how the financial pressure had clouded her judgment. She wanted to work through the situation and hoped we could find a way to repair our friendship. Samantha's attempts to reconcile were well-intentioned, but they only added to my confusion and pain. I struggled with the idea of forgiving her. The emotional weight of the betrayal made it hard for me to see beyond the hurt. Forgiving her felt like it would diminish the gravity of what had happened and undermine the significance of the ring. My family and other friends were sympathetic to my situation. They understood how much the ring meant to me and supported my feelings of betrayal. They also encouraged me to consider forgiveness and to weigh the value of my long-standing friendship with Samantha against the hurt she had caused. Some suggested that holding on to anger might lead to more pain and prevent me from finding peace. My family reminded me that Samantha's actions, while wrong, were driven by desperation rather than malice. They argued that people make mistakes and that forgiveness could be a path to healing. On the other hand, They also acknowledged that I had every right to feel hurt and that my emotional well-being was important. After much reflection, I decided to take a step back from my friendship with Samantha. I chose to focus on my own healing and to process the betrayal at my own pace. I realized that reconciliation might not be possible right now, and that forcing myself to forgive her prematurely could be harmful. Samantha continued to apologize and offered financial compensation for the ring, but the emotional damage was harder to mend. I appreciated her attempts to make amends, but they did not fully address the depth of the betrayal I felt. I needed time and space to heal, and I didn't want to rush into a decision that might lead to further hurt. In the aftermath, I've been working on rebuilding my own emotional strength. I've sought therapy to help me navigate the complex feelings of betrayal and loss. The process has been challenging, but it's helping me find a way to move forward. I'm learning to prioritize my own well-being and to focus on what I need to heal. I've also been trying to find ways to honor my mother's memory in other ways, since the ring is no longer a part of that process. It's been a journey of understanding how to hold on to the love and memories I have without being weighed down by the loss. So, Reddit, Aita for not forgiving my best friend after she stole my late mother's wedding ring? Am I wrong for struggling to let go of my hurt and anger, or is it reasonable to feel this way given the circumstances? How do you handle such a deep betrayal, and is there a way to reconcile while preserving your emotional well-being? Update. After taking some time to process everything and work through my feelings, I eventually decided to reach out to Samantha. It wasn't an easy decision, but I wanted to at least have a final conversation to address everything that had happened. I met with her in a neutral setting where we could talk openly. During our conversation, I made it clear how deeply hurt I was by her actions and how the loss of the ring affected me emotionally. Samantha was incredibly apologetic and expressed that she understood the gravity of her mistake. She reiterated her regret and offered again to compensate me financially, but I made it clear that the ring's sentimental value couldn't be replaced with money. Since my last post, I've been actively working on my own healing through therapy. My therapist helped me navigate my feelings of betrayal and find ways to cope with the loss. It's been a difficult journey, but I've found some clarity and peace in accepting the situation as it is and focusing on my own emotional well-being. Through therapy, I realized that holding on to anger and hurt could be more detrimental to my own healing process than to Samantha's actions. This doesn't mean I'm erasing what happened or pretending it didn't hurt, it just means I'm choosing to move forward in a way that's healthier for me. After our conversation and my personal reflection, I've decided to offer Samantha a form of forgiveness. This doesn't mean we'll immediately return to our previous friendship or that everything will go back to normal. Instead, it means that I'm choosing to let go of the anger and resentment I've been holding on to. I've told Samantha that while I'm willing to forgive her, it will take time for me to rebuild trust, and I'm not ready to resume our friendship in the same way. I'm focusing on setting boundaries and allowing space for myself to heal fully. My family has been incredibly supportive throughout this process. They've encouraged me to take the time I need and to make decisions that prioritize my mental and emotional health. They've also been a source of comfort and strength, helping me navigate this challenging period. I'm working on finding new ways to honor my mother's memory that don't involve the ring. I've started creating a scrapbook with photos, letters, and mementos from my mother's life. It's been a meaningful project that allows me to keep her memory alive in a positive way. While the situation with Samantha was painful, it has also led me to a place of personal growth. I've learned more about my own needs, boundaries, and the importance of self-care. Moving forward, I'm focused on rebuilding my own life and finding joy in the things that matter most to me. Thanks again to everyone who offered advice and support. If you've been through a similar situation, how did you handle the process of forgiveness and healing? How did you navigate the complexities of rebuilding relationships or moving forward after such a betrayal?